Good morning, everyone. Today it's my privilege to introduce Professor Annapurni Subramaniam, a distinguished astrophysicist and an inspiring leader in space sciences. As the director of Indian Institute of Astrophysics or IIA, she has made significant contributions to observational astronomy and instrumental development. Having grown within the organization, she has taken on diverse roles demonstrating exceptional leadership and dedication. Professor Subramaniam has also played a pivotal role in major science projects shaping the future of astrophysical research in India. Today, she will share her insights on leadership, perseverance, and the role of women in science. Please join me in welcoming Professor Annapurni Subramaniam.
Good morning. You can hear me, right? Thanks to the organizers for inviting me to this meeting, as well as to share my journey with you. I think what I thought was I've put about 10 slides which are describing where I started off, what is the area I work on, and what I do, and also what I have, I think, achieved in the last few years. And then I open it for discussion so that you can ask questions on various aspects of it. I'll try my best to answer. I can't guarantee that I can answer everything, but then I'll try my best to do it. So you get a perspective of what is my area and what is the boundary within which I'm working, so that you can frame your questions as well. So I work on an area of astronomy and astrophysics. So it's to do with space sciences, and that is also the theme of this program as well. So when I started my journey, started my PhD in 1990, space sciences was not that glamorous. Now it is quite a glamorous topic, and everybody wants to do something about it or be part of it because there is a bandwagon and there is something, you can see a road ahead of you. There was nothing, there was a forest in front of me. That's what when I started off with. So there was nothing glamorous about it. So when I started my journey, it was because I was passionate about it. Nobody else was passionate about it. So, and I had to convince people that, okay, I'm doing it because it makes me happy. So that is the only reason why people let me do it. Otherwise, there was no reason why people would take me, okay, you go. And I also get, it's as it happens in Indian society, I also got married within 1 year of I start my PhD. So my in-laws will ask me the question, why the heck do you go and stay away in an observatory which is far away from your life? Okay, so I have to convince so many people that this is what makes me happy, and the one person I did not have to convince was my husband. So that made my life a little easier. But rest of the people you have to convince, because your husband is not the only person you need to convince when in an Indian society, because you have to convince a lot more people around you. But I made sure that I convinced only the most important people. The rest of the people I didn't care. So yeah, so that worked. So the Indian Institute of Astrophysics, what does it mean? I just give you a bit of a glimpse so that I can, it makes my work in the right perspective of the institute. So as Ranjini was mentioning, I started my PhD in this organization, and now I'm the director. I'm appointed director for the second time. So I'm stuck with this institute for life. So I need to put it in a different way. So this institute started its journey in 1786, and then when the observatory is formed in Madras, and then it moved to a permanent housing in Nungambakkam in 1792. So there's a long history to it. And it became Observatory Kodaikanal in 1899, and it became Indian Institute of Astrophysics as an autonomous body in 1971. Then we celebrated its 50 years in 2020, and then the headquarters moved to Bangalore campus here. So as we stand, we have several. So if you come to the Koramangala campus, it's a 5-worker campus. So people say, oh, it's a small institute. Actually, it's a elephant in disguise, because we have the center in Koramangala campus, but we have several field stations spread across the country, which is not visible. But then you have to operate everything all over them. All the scientific instruments are mostly located in the field stations. We have an extended campus in Hosakote. It was established in 2000. We continue to operate Kodaikanal Solar Observatory. This year, in fact, is 125 years. So we are celebrating it's a very long drawn thing. So setting up a facility is one, running a facility is another. And running it for 125 it takes generations of people. So that is what it makes to, that's what it is. And the Venuvapu Observatory is, cross 50 years. And Indian Astronomical Observatory in Ladakh is a very difficult place to run. We are running an observatory for the last 25 years. And we also have a radio facility in Gauribism, which is in Karnataka. So Karnataka, three facilities, 2 in Tamil Nadu and few in Ladakh. So it's a totally spread out kind of a footprint on the ground. And we have footprint in space as well. So we have 2 space payloads. One is UVIT as part of AstroSat and orbit now. It's completing a little later this year, it'll complete 10 years. And the Aditya L1 mission, which reached L1 in a year ago, we have the coronagraph, which is built by us. And there are collaborations in this where UVIT also has had internal collaborations as well as collaborations with the Canadian Space Agency. Here we have collaborations with, of course, the launch and operations are done by ISRO. But we delivered the payload, we have the payload operation center, we process the data, etc., etc. And we're also part of a major international project called India, the 30-meter telescope and the 1,300 crore project over 10 years. And it's extended also. So it's a mega project and delivery, a huge amount of delivery to external international projects. So quality, schedule, cost, everything comes into place. And we are also setting up a planetarium in Mysore. It's about 100 crore project over 3 years. So this is, in fact, I will talk a little bit about it. I'm personally involved and also the PI of the project. A lot of challenges with respect to this project as well. So I want to touch upon it because as a few conversations came in the morning, I thought I should highlight that. So I put it together as well. So this is the landscape of the organization as of now, which I am heading. So when I say that I started my journey and I'm, heading the institution as well, one thing I know is that I know the institution in and out of it. Absolutely, because I grew up with it. I know its strengths, I know its weaknesses. So I'll be the right person to convey the USP and the brilliant stuff the organization has done. If I want to do it properly, I'm the right person to do it. If someone else steps into it and say, okay, what have you done? It takes some time to assimilate it, put together and convey it. Now I'm able to do that because I know the growth of the institution, so I can convey it to the people. It's very important for us because if I want to get funds from my organization and run the facilities which are right across the country, it's not easy. So I need to pitch it in such a way that I convince people that is important because I'm passionate about it. I try to put it in that way, science. Second, how difficult it is to do it and how efficiently we are trying to do it. So I have to put it together in a nutshell so that I sell it, so that I get the support and the money and whatever required, the approvals. The approvals are extremely important, so that I get the approvals to go ahead with them. So otherwise, it's extremely difficult to convince people across because the way they use the lens is different from the way we analyze the proposals when we write it. So that is one. Let me say it's an advantage I have because I know the institution. I know how to pitch it. So what did I do? So I grew up doing my early career days as a PhD. I spent a lot of time with the 2.3 meter telescope in this jungle. It's a forest, but it's a very friendly forest and very wonderful place where you can think of science and look at the sky and spend your time doing research. But I had to spend a lot of time here. But my foundation in understanding space as well as instrumentation helped me to, because this was the early foundation years. When I did my PhD, I not only gathered data, but I also understood the instruments, which helped me to lay foundation. I didn't understand the value of it then, but now look back, I actually understand the value of it because I actually understand how things worked and what were the difficulties, how would we fix it, and when we have it now, how can we, move forward, etc. And I worked with Professor Ram Sagar. He was my thesis supervisor. It's not moving. Okay. I not put it. Yeah. So the other one which I had worked was the AstroSat, the UV imaging payload on the AstroSat. I was a calibration scientist on it. And this responsibility I took I did my PhD from 1990 to 96. And after submitting my thesis, I took a break of 1 year. I got my first child, some issues with health, etc. So I took almost 2 years break. And then I went back as a visiting scientist position. It's short term. Then by end of 2000, the institute was setting up a telescope in Himalayas. They wanted people with observational capabilities to do the initial analysis, etc. So I joined as a very low position because I was an opening. I said I don't care. I just want a job, and then I started, and I knew I can climb up by hard work. So I took it, and then I started moving forward. So I started as a scientist B, and then I moved up. So in 2006, I was given the responsibility of a calibration scientist of this. So I joined as a faculty in 2000. And this project got approval around 2003, 2004. And by the time they were looking for a person to do the calibration. So I had the ground-based calibration expertise. So I was interested with this job. It was not easy because working with the teams and there were a lot of infights throughout the project. It was not at all easy, but then I was focused, doesn't matter whoever say, whatever I say, this is my journey, I will take it up. So I went ahead and did it. And this calibration, I did the initial calibration, the performance verification, and then I handed over to someone else, the other team, when I took up the directorship. So this is one leadership thing I have done. And yeah, so I'm not going into the science part of it. So this is I should say not 100% picture, but then this was the picture taken when the ultraviolet imaging telescope was handed over to ISRO. Now this picture, you cannot see any woman except me here. So there's one more person who worked on it, but she's not available in the picture. But at times I just wanted to. I'm not saying that I was the only one who worked on it. That is not the idea. The idea I'm saying is there will be positions where you will be the only woman in the whole team. So you don't need to worry about anything. You just need to do. You are a scientist and you have a responsibility to do. Just do it. So you don't have to be overwhelmed. So many times you can get overwhelmed. Oh my God, this is the situation. What do I do? So don't get overwhelmed. Just do it. So this is only to drive that point, nothing else. The other leadership thing I did was in the 30-meter telescope project, there was a software delivery to be done. So this is in the project management terminology, it was on a critical path, in the sense that you have something lined up, and if this piece is not delivered, then the rest of it gets affected. So it's on a critical path. And if you don't do it, take it up, India doesn't take it up and do it, then that work package will be assigned to some other country. So we lose that particular opportunity. So, and the project office also wanted me to take it up. And it was at the same time when I was doing the calibration for the UKIERI. So it was not easy for me to take up both, but then it was a crisis point whether if I don't take it up, So I don't know anything about software. I'm not a person, I do use software, but I'm not a person who can work or develop software. And I don't do any project management, in the usual terms. But then how do I handle it? So I realized that what is the role which needs to be played by the person who tackled it? The thing is, you don't need to know the software because you are going to engage a company to do the software. They are supposed to do it. You don't need to do it. You don't need to know it. All that you need to do is that make sure that they deliver what you want them to deliver. That's all. And you have your testing people to do that. So you just need to make sure that identify what exactly to be delivered, when it to be delivered. Are they sticking to the schedule? Are they sticking to the cost? Just the project management job. Don't get into the other things, and you get people to do the rest of the things. So what it told me was that you need to identify what exactly is required out of that role and just play that role. You don't have to complicate it. So make sure that you identify it properly. So clarity is the most important thing required in that situation. So that helped me to work and ramp up of course, you need to understand. You need to understand to actually get the clarity. So you need to spend time to get that knowledge. And I worked with ThoughtWorks, and Asmita is wore the hat after that. But initially setting up, because software is new for people, because the hardware delivery, you see delivered some hardware delivered. Software delivery means people will ask, what did you deliver? How was it? Is it actually worth so much? All these questions will ask from various people it's a difficult thing. So I did it for up to 2019. So It was a very different experience for me, and we delivered software worth 5 crore for that. And this is also another, we organized a science and instrumentation meeting in Mysuru. So that was also a bit of a difficult job, but then we managed to do it. It's an Infosys Foundation campus. Yeah. So this is what I do as science. I'll just skip this. I have a team of students, and my mentor, my PhD supervisor are also part of the team. So that's also there. I received recently an award, which is basically a Rashtriya Vigyan Puraskar Award. So this plays a role because this reassures you that you are on the right path. So that, and I was the only woman who received Vigyan Shri in that last year. And this is the project which I took up, or rather, it was handed out to me after I took over as the director in the first term. And this was, you can see the MP last year. So this is there is the local area development scheme. The MPs get money. So Nirmala Sitharaman, who's our finance minister, has invested 5 crore in this project. And of course, the project is of 91 crore, but because her office directly monitors it, and it's monitored by high level people. So it is a very challenging project because it has got a very high tech planetarium coming in, and the building construction, everything it's a lot of complexity involved in it. So the first firing person will be me. So I also have to connect with them, but I also have to make sure that my team members are protected. So you be the face and you have to take all the blame, but the credit comes, you have to give it to the members who have worked on it. So you have to be aware of it every time. Even in the evening or night, they will ask what is the status. I need to know it immediately. So I have to be on top of it. So I should know what I should be on top of it and what the details I can afford to get from people. So you have to have that clarity and then convince people that you are actually doing it well, or you know what's happening. There's no you don't have to worry that I don't know what's happening kind of thing. I'm the person who is executing it. You should develop faith with the system which is funding it. So that's very important. But you should find ways to do that because you're dealing with a set of people who would expect it in a certain way. So FM's office will be expecting in some way. The PSA is also monitoring it. PSA is the head of it, so principal scientific advisor. So anytime they call that their things have to be convinced, the DST is involved, DAE is involved. So all have to be kept in good communication, and so that they are happy that, oh yeah, I know what's happening. So that kind of a situation. Oh, I don't know what's happening. We are just giving money. If somebody makes statements like that, then your trust is just kind of deteriorating. So you can't get into that particular situation. So right now this is in this stage. So you can see the similarity between the buildings. So it'll be ready for inauguration by end of this year. Of course, this is only the civil part. Inside is the technical part, which is challenging, which also will come, but then we hope it'll be all right. Yeah, I'm not just this. I'm a performing violinist. I perform with my father. My children are also performing artists. So there's some other life than what I do as a scientist and administrator. So yeah, I stop here and I take questions. I'll just go back here.
Thank you, ma'am, for a wonderful talk. I have a question. When you move from research to admin work, how do you manage research? Because admin or meetings may take a lot of time, and then you start missing your research, right? Because that's somewhere you enjoy, right? So how do you manage your time and your priorities when you start getting more responsibilities on admin level?
It's a challenge. I'm not saying it's not a challenge, but it is a surmountable challenge because I have been guiding students and I've been writing papers, not as first author, but the students are the first authors. I'm the second author. So there are several second author papers. I'm still guiding students, and I am still guiding undergrad students, master's students, where you need to train them, and they also write papers. So I'm able to manage that, and I also manage to play violin also. So it's just that I'm able to prioritize things and take off things which are taking my time and I'm not interested out of my plate. So yeah, that's the only way. And also, um, um, you have to streamline a lot of things. So discipline is extremely important. COVID time taught us also that without discipline we cannot do it. So if you say I have a task at hand, and how much time is it worth it? It's 1 hour. Then you set your clock, 1 hour, it should be finished. And you can't just go around and round and round in circles and say that, okay, I couldn't finish it. You went around in circles without any outcome. So the thing which I learned from ThoughtWorks working with them is that you brainstorm left and right, but at the end of 1 hour, you have to make a conclusion. You have to conclude. You brainstorm anything you want, but that conclusion must be made within that time scale. That really taught me, because I do chair in many DST committees. I finally realized that the quality is making me work is not the science. The ability to come to a decision within the parameters you have. You may err a little bit, but making a decision is important, because not making a decision is horrible. It could be, your decision can be bad, but it's not worse, or it's not decision is worse than that. So you have to make a decision, an informed decision, and in a committee it matters that all the members agree to it. So you have to have a clarity in thinking. That comes when you target this time thing. You have to do it in 1 hour, so that will definitely make sure that you tell what is the most important aspects you should attend to in this. Identify that and attend to it. That'll be done. This is I'm not saying this is the correct approach, but it has worked.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Good morning, ma'am. Thanks for inspiring us, ma'am. I just want to know, ma'am, during your whole journey, what were some, those hurdles? What, you feel like if these things would have not been there, I would have been in some other place or something like that. So those hurdles and how you overcome, with those things.
Yeah. So there were hurdles, like I cannot say that, but it's up to you to identify whether or qualify that as hurdles or not. If you identify that as a hurdle, then it will remain a hurdle for you forever. So don't say that it's a hurdle. It's there is one thing which I think it was said by Sudhamurthy. At any adverse situation, there is a learning to do, or there is a way in which you can make that situation advantageous to you. So if you are smart enough, any situation, you have to take the advantage of the situation, not bring out the disadvantage of any situation. Will have both advantage and disadvantage. So if you highlight the disadvantage, then who's at lost? You're losing out. So if you can find out the advantages of that situation and work on them, you will gain something at the end of the day. If that is the optimal thing, I don't know. I can't say that, but you don't have a control on that situation, right? So given the situation, what best can you achieve out of it is what I tell myself to do, because if I start looking at hurdles, then I'm becoming more and more negative. Yeah, and I'm losing my time. Yeah. This is the mic.
Ma'am, it's a wonderful and a very inspiring journey. So hats off to you for that. Just two quick questions. One is that you said that at a very young age, you entered into this, right? You did your PhD and all that. What is that one thing that really inspired you to take up this career? That is one quick question. And second one was, throughout your entire journey, what was it that was most challenging, that what you felt was most challenging to undertake?
Yeah, so everybody has different ways of looking at your life and your career, etc. So for me, when I completed my master's, education was paramount for me. My parents are musicians, so I'm not coming from a science background family. At home, always it's music, and they had no idea what I was doing, because they are happy as long as I'm happy. So yeah, so I'm the only child as well. So the restrictions on not going out and doing it denied me from joining for engineering. So that's a different point in my matter altogether. But then what scared me was after masters, what do? I sit at home. And that's something which really scared me totally. I can't sit at home. So I have to do something. So I started hunting for PhD programs. I applied only a couple of them, but then I got one, fortunately. And then I wasn't having enough confidence. I come from a town in Kerala. So I did in a government college masters, which doesn't give me much of a, credentials to go and fight. But someone told me that unless and until you try it, you don't know whether you win it or not, right? So then I tried, I got it. So, but I was happy. I mean, I used to watch stars and in constellations when I was young. So I was very happy that I wanted to do astronomy. Then I got it. The thing the second part of it is like, what is the challenging is that the balancing aspect is very challenging. So when I look at my family life, or when kids are young, spending time with them or doing something for my parents or in-laws, as well as attending my science or students, etc., something will be having a negative balance all the time. So over a time scale, I learned to draw the balance sheet after a longer period. If you take it in a shorter period, in a week's time, you wouldn't have attended to something. Like your children are sick, then your the research will suffer, or you stay extended time in office, or some research is better, something is off, something is better, something is off. So there'll be plus and minuses on a shorter time scale. But so don't take the average on a shorter time scale, take it on a longer time scale. So this week your children were sick, you could not attend, doesn't matter. Next week you attend to it. So you take an average over a longer period, you should be able to achieve whatever you wanted to do. So that is the hard-earned.
Good
Dr.
morning,
Ganga
madam.
from NIT Nagaland. I just want to ask you, like, if in a project, if the project doesn't end up with the expected outcome, and you find that is the reason because of the shortcoming in your team, and as a leader, how will you handle that? My first question is, if the project.
The first question, I didn't get the second question. I'll answer the first question.
Yeah.
So working in a team is a bit challenging, and also for me, when I wanted to define, like the question was asked in the morning, how do you define yourself? And when I want to see myself as a leader or leading some project or leading a team, what kind of a personality should I want me to be? Okay, there are different sets of personalities you can think of. You can look at the role models or people, how you handle it. Then some are aggressive, some are saying, the decision making, the powerful. Do you want to do that, or you want to just be a part of a team, but then just making sure that everybody is doing the job and taking the whole thing forward? So
when the outcome doesn't meet the expected outcome, right?
No. I'll come into that. So how do you make sure that your team member deliver the way it is? Point number 1. 2, are you able to push them to the limit where they can perform? 2, do you actually see any gap area in your team where you need to hire someone? And even if you do that, how exactly do you do it? And the third point is, how do you handle a situation where they're not delivering, or somebody made a mistake?
Exactly.
Right? So these are the questions which you handle when you are a team leader. So as a leader in an organization or anybody, if I'm asking you for 10 people in a thing, I'm very upset that the thing is not going well. That's point number 1. If I come and show my displeasure to everybody around here, I just given all you my negative feeling and displeasure about it to convey it to everybody. Now nobody can think positive, including me. And even if there is a solution available, we cannot find it. So my approach is, having done is done, over. We will do the post-mortem later. But right now, see how you can save the situation. And not, even if I know that 2 people have made mistakes, don't blame them immediately. Because they will also be feeling miserable. Like if I break a glass, if you come and shout at me, I'm already feeling miserable that I made a broken glass. It's not going to help me, right? But I can at least say that, okay, sorry, I'm going to clean it up and do something out of it. Even if you shout at me, I'm going to say, no, I will not even do it. So you cannot even get the solution out of the person who is willing to solve it. having committed a mistake, so I will lose that opportunity. So I normally don't do that. That's my style of doing it, but that may not be the right style. I don't know. But for me, I don't think that's the right thing to do. So I don't do it. But I take as a team, you solve the solution now. And most of the cases, you don't have to come up with a solution. The team, 10 people itself, will come up with some brilliant ideas. You just need to put it together and say, put it in action. And they themselves will tell you, I can do this, I can do this. Then you can say a glaring gap in one area where nobody is there to tell you to take it up. That will come up as an idea, oh, you need person to do it, and bring the person up. So when you bring a new person up, you have to make sure that the rest of the people are also happy with it. And they also felt the need for it. Otherwise, there will be space constraint, right? Become crowded. Yeah. So I myself don't feel that I should dominate the scene, but let the members speak up, and they also feel ownership to the thing. So that's how I manage it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think I covered all the questions you had asked. Yeah. But I'm again saying that it's me, my view on it. It may not be the right managerial solution. Yeah.
We are learning.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Hello, ma'am. This is Sheetal Raut, and I am from NIT Nagpur. I want to ask you a related question. So, in the organization or in the department, many are our colleagues think that yes, we are also compatible and we are chosen as a leader in that particular group. So maybe the vibes are like that they are not liking you as you are chosen as a leader, and they think that we are equally competent. Then if I lead such a team where they are thinking that yes, we are the rivals, not a team, and then I want to put some target and get it complete, how do I deal with that? Because the negativity is at the topmost only. So how to work in such a team then?
Yeah. So and gaining the trust of the members of the team is the most important thing. So if they say the vindictiveness is different, I'm not talking about people determined to do damage. You can't solve the situation. Okay. You have to tell your supervisor that, look, in a team like this, you cannot. That's what I think they were talking about, comfortness. Everybody has to be comfortable in the team. If you're not completely comfortable, then you reorganize the committee, because the committee cannot deliver or the team cannot deliver. You have to change. That you need to bring it to. I mean, that's a no-go situation comes. You need to inform the person that this is not workable. But within the team, how do you manage the trust? I give an example. When I was appointed as director, there were 7 candidates, and I was probably the junior most. And all the 7 is within the institute, and I was given the job. Now all the 7 I have to manage, and I also manage the rest of the people down, right? And also gain confidence that yes, I can deliver. It's not easy at all. You're absolutely uncomfortable. Everywhere uncomfortable, because people look at you, can you do it? And then the rest of the people say, yes, you can't do it. So this statements will be made. Yeah. So I'm coming to that. So first thing is, you have to have confidence that you have given the job, right? And I don't know whether yes, no, or competent. How the history happened is, forget the history. I've given the job for a certain reason, and I have to execute it. Now, with that power, you have to tell that, look, this is how I'm going to do it. There's a reason why you have to do it. So you don't take it as a power. You take it as a role where you are XYZ. Anybody who takes up that XYZ position, how will you actually execute that thing? So you tell the plan. Now, everybody is there for a reason. Now, you have to perform the reason. You can be XYZ outside this room. But inside this room, you have this hat, you're wearing this hat, and you have to deliver this. And I'm wearing this hat because of this reason. Outside this, I'm not just wearing this hat. But inside, you have to be with me, because we have certain identified roles and identified deliveries. You have to behave it. So you have to put that boundary very clearly, and they will understand that once you do that, you are on the job. So you have to show that you have a road, and this is the road, and to go there, this is the path I'm taking. If you have any competing things, you tell me, we will address it. So don't ignore the concerns made by the members. Listen to them. First of all, most of the cases, not listening is the problem. Listen, and then convince them that why you are taking this road. And if they have a competing answer or different answer which you can augment it, then do it. And it's a teamwork. It's not me delivering, it's a team delivering. So if you do it, most of it goes away. But if there are people who really don't care, I just want to make sure that you don't lead, that doesn't work. You have to tell your superiors that, look, there can't be 2 lions here. There can be only one. Please make sure. Otherwise, this is not going anywhere. You raise the red flag whenever is appropriate. You have to raise it.
So I would like to ask 2 questions. The first one is, I think this room is filled with the future leaders. So what is the one piece of advice you would give us? The second is, how did you handle the failures?
Handle the failure. Okay. I don't know what is the one thing you need to tell, but that you can't do it. So any situation will present you will be completely new to you. Related to some very difficult situations will come up, but then and get help. So don't need to panic. And if not, though you, I mean, down and if you, for me, what happens is I've developed a situation where if either happy or sad, so if you keep myself worried for a long period of time, I can't perform. So I need to take by how to handle it. So that technique you have to develop. And second thing is, you should know how to relax, because there will be a lot of problems will come together. But just be calm, and you take one by one, you can do it. You'll do it at the end of the day. Tomorrow there'll be a new challenge coming up. Tomorrow also I'll be worried. Then I say, see, yesterday I did it, no? So today also I can do it. So you have to keep boosting your confidence and learning. There's no dearth of learning. You have to keep learning new things, and no block. You have to open up all blocks and then do it. Yeah. Second was what? Failures. So in some things you are not taking the right decision, you have to listen and understand what is that you have lacking, or what is that you are ignored in the messages you're coming to you, then incorporate it. So you have to open up. You cannot say that it's not a failure, it's like a lack of, for me, I'll put it as a I don't have enough information. I'm not taking an informed decision. So I have to make sure that all things are filled up to make an informed decision. So I don't know whether it is a failure. Sorry, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It's a motivating talk. I just want to ask you, most of the scientific proposals that we deals with are, it says that we are utilizing the taxpayers' money we have to always justify our proposals. Whenever in the initial career, or in the midway, or in the final stage, we have to be judiciously justified. So how you handle that, in your career, how you handle your proposals to be got approvals?
It's a difficult question. Though this term of judiciously using your money is always it's not like given into you in terms of percentages, numbers. It's a very subjective term, relative term. So you have to justify in a relative and subjective term, saying that given the situation, we are judiciously using. And second thing is that you also have to put together that you're not doing some routine job. It's something different. And how do you convince them that it is different? The other point which I want to make is that when the first thing was talk about the 3-minute thesis, the one slide you want to convince, I always take the for me, one is what I'm doing. Second is equally important is whom I am talking to. Because if I say something which is not relevant to the audience, then you don't understand, it's out of context. So time is wasted. I don't have the opportunity wasted. So I make sure that whom I am addressing, what will be their concerns, and try to look at from their point of view. And what will they like to hear, and what can I address in this presentation to alleviate or excite them? Get them interested, alleviate their, downplay their fears, and make sure that everything is fine. It is doable. So minimize the risk of inducing, including something which they can actually poke and get into a wrong direction. So minimize those angles. So that normally sells through, but then depending upon when there will be a lot of background material for that one slide. So you have to use that to convince them. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm sure that you will all agree with me that this was such an inspiring and insightful talk. On behalf of everyone here, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Professor Annapurni Subramaniam for the time she has taken to share her experiences and wisdom with us today. Her journey as a scientist and a leader filled with resilience, dedication, and passion serves as a true inspiration for all of us. Her perspectives on leadership, perseverance, and the role of women in science have been both enlightening and motivating. Thank you, Professor Subramaniam, for your invaluable insights and for being such a remarkable role model in scientific community. Thank you all.